I confess myself at a loss after hearing previous speakers. It is quite difficult for me to find something that has not been said. However, let me try and build on a couple of remarks. I would start with the bridge that Professor Courage has just mentioned. Indeed, the health of a bridge is deeply dependent on the stability of its pillars. This bridge connects point A to point B. It depends on how many feet it has. But if the starting point is wobbling, the other side of the bridge would be, in the best of cases, shaky. So beyond these metaphors, I'd like to invite you for the next, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, to focus on a couple of points. And I apologize beforehand for possible obvious things I would recall. But being obvious does not make these things less true. The Belt and Road Initiative is a newcomer. It is only less than 1 year old in a name, because the One Belt, One Road Initiative, as it was called in 2013, has evolved. When it was launched by President Xi Jinping, the whole of China went crazy. I apologize for the term. But there hardly was any week without a seminar, conference, meeting, round table, square table, whatever, where participants would not discuss the new proposal. And this madness went on for 2 years. In 2015, in March, there was at last clarity and formality when a document was adopted by the higher level administrative authorities in China, and it made clear what that was. It was not a misstep of the Chinese government. This was on purpose, because you cannot have such a huge concept. And mind you, it is not a plan. It is not a pattern. It is not, well, it is difficult to say what it is. It is much more easy to say what it is not. It is an outlook. I quote the Chinese officialdom. It is an outlook. It is not a choir or a symphony or an orchestra with a Chinese conductor. It is a choir where everybody sings in harmony. And it makes sense. We have seen quite a lot of orchestras without conductor playing beautifully. We do not need a conductor. And this is what the Chinese Minister of Foreign Affairs said in 2015. And then the Chinese thought better and changed the name from One Belt, One Road to Belt and Road Initiative. Not one. Why? It was clear that having the one at the beginning means there is no second afterwards, which is a limit of choices. And the Chinese don't like that. And they thought it is not good. It sends the wrong message Forget about one, make it Belt and Road Initiative. It is not a trivial matter. I humbly appeal to your scholarly thinking. I'm not one of the scholars, but symbols are crucial, particularly in that part of the world, and, of course, in our own part of the world. Therefore, if symbols are crucial, language is similarly determinant and decisive in how you will be perceived. Language and message. In 2017, in May, Ambassador Onofre, my old colleague and friend, mentioned the summit on the Belt and Road Cooperation Forum. So 2017, May. It took it another 2 years to have such a gathering, and what a gathering it was. Beijing is a small, tiny city of 20 million inhabitants, more than Romania's inhabitants. It came to a standstill, almost. When you have 30 plus VVIPs, almost 61 or 63 national delegations running around, it is quite difficult not to have everybody involved. I highlight this moment because it is a very important landmark in the future development of the Belt and Road Initiative. The next summit will be in 2 years. It's been decided. The Chinese president mentioned in his message the connectivity issue. And there were 5 fields where connectivity, or that made the Belt and Road Initiative so strongly, richly connected to these fields: policy, infrastructure, trade, financial, and people to people. And here we come to the topic, very briefly. The people-to-people connectivity. We've heard so much about that. It is a basic component, of course. Investment in highways, railroads, even internet, and so on and so forth, definitely. But investing in people is an almost no-failure investment in the future. So it is extremely wise to think about that. All our countries in the area know that. The Chinese know it too. 10,000 scholarships a year. This is what they distribute to the countries involved in the Belt and Road Initiative. 10,000 scholarships. In this way, such initiatives, besides scholarships, are also a very interesting mix between business and culture. These days, in the famous city of Xi'an, where the terracotta warriors are, there is a festival coming to an end, a summit, which is called the Xi'an Second China Cultural and Sports Industry Summit. So, all right, fine. We will see nice dancing, flashing and mind-boggling Chinese martial arts, and we'll make a bit of trade on the side. Why not? It is a very pragmatic approach, and it works. But more than that, and I take the advantage of the presence of the distinguished Turkish friends here, the newly appointed Turkish ambassador to Beijing has just stated, I think it was 2 days ago, that one of his most important targets during his mandate will be the Turkey Tourism Year, 2018. So next year. 1 million Chinese tourists are expected to come to Turkey. Well, they will come with their ideas, they will see what Turkey looks like, and, of course, they will spend a lot of money. Nothing wrong in that. This is how such people-to-people connections work. And this is one of those obvious things I was telling you about. Challenges, and I'll try to wrap it up. First of all, the Belt and Road Initiative is not one belt or one road, not only because what I've said before, but because it is actually a network of roads and belts. Well, belt is a very unhappy word for a lot of languages, but that's it. For the old Silk Road, there are at least 3 corridors that go from east to west. In the area around China, there are at least 5 other huge, immense corridors. So it's a network. How you manage that? To say nothing about the realities on the ground. Look at the map. Ambassador Onofre has just mentioned. Is there any area that the Belt and Road crosses which is quiet? So how come? Well, the answer is here. Because the Chinese thinking so strongly believes that the solution is development. The solution, capital S, capital T, the solution to everything is development. All right? This is a huge topic. But I would kindly invite you to recall what President Xi Jinping said in Davos this last January, when he exposed China's global thinking. Link it to what he said in Beijing in May, and there you have, and will have, the answer to what is the Belt and Road. Well, it is in the bud of a new global thinking. It's not Europe, Asia, Middle East, Levant, Southeast, full stop. No. It's global. As of now, it is the only global project in the world. Nobody has put forward something. It is sketchy, of course. It is confusing, oh boy. And how much? It's mind-boggling, 900 billion? We talk about money, about trillions and billions of dollars like we are talking about peanuts. But they are there. China spends yearly $10 billion for soft power promotion. The United States in 2015 spent $600 million. It is another topic. Challenge. We have China, we have the rest of the world. It's not versus, it is and. It is with the rest of the world. The bridge. You remember the famous story of the elephant and the mouse crossing the bridge? And what the mouse told to the elephant? Oh dear, look at us, how we are trampling on the bridge. We have a huge institution, which is the state of China. We have a huge mobilization of institutions that act disciplined in a disciplined way. And we have the immense variety of the other countries. How you match them, how you put them together. And one answer is you have them meet almost weekly now. Somewhere in China or around, there is a meeting on the Belt and Road thing. On the 16+1 cooperation that was mentioned by President Masic a little bit earlier, this is one of the most interesting experiments. Well, one of the challenges we have in the 16+1 cooperation is the calendar of meetings. More than 30 cultural events are taking place in less than 6 months. How can somebody imagine that the European countries can attend these events in China? All right. Challenge. What happens next? I would recall that a month ago, a little bit more, a most important event took place in China, and that was the 19th Congress of the party. One of the decisions taken by the party was to put the Belt and Road Initiative in the constitution of the party. Now let's think together what this means and how this will influence whatever China is going to do from now on in order to promote this initiative.